I would like to state from the outset, I believe in total equality among men and women. I do not believe in the concept that the man should be the king of the household. I think a marriage should be between equal partners. I believe in equal pay for equal work. I believe we as a nation fall short when we do not elect more female politicians, elect more female judges to the benches. But having said this, I take issue with the belief that if women had ran the world since time immemorial as opposed to men, the world would be a better place. This is a constant theme among women who say we would be better off if women ran the world. It is held that women leaders would be more nurturing, more caring, and less likely to want to go to war. They would meet with other women leaders throughout the world and talk about their problems, talk about the issues. Advocates of this philosophy also believe that there would be less ills in society because a woman leader would be more guided by her maternal nature. Those who believe this ignore history. There is absolutely no evidence that if women ran the world, this would be a better place to live. I would like to state clearly, man has done a horrible job in running planet Earth. God has to look down upon us and look at the mess we've made and cry. But Earth would be no better if women were in charge. And history bears this out. Let's look at a few women leaders. We all know Queen Isabella, the woman who sponsored Christopher Columbus and sent him to the New World. Well, there's something else you should know about Queen Isabella. She's a woman who helped start the Spanish Inquisition. Before her reign, Spain was a country where religious toleration flourished. That would all come to an end under her rule. Jews, Muslims, and even Catholics would live in fear. Jews were forced out of the country, and later Muslims would be forced out of the country. Thousands of people would be tortured, and many would die. In fact, the Inquisition would consume the lives of nearly 3,000 people within a 300-year time span. Queen Isabella, like her husband, was consumed with wanting more power. And her motherly instinct could not overcome that desire. What about Catherine de' Medici of France? She would rule through her sons, and her maternal instincts did not prevent her from instigating the Saint Bartholomew's Day massacre, in which 3,000 Huguenots were butchered in Paris, and within the next 3 days, 20,000 Huguenots were executed throughout France. What about Queen Marie Antoinette? She may not have said, "Let them eat cake," but she was still a woman who put her personal needs above the nation, as she convinced her husband, the king, to work against the National Constituent Assembly, which was trying to give power to the common man and common woman. What about Catherine the Great of Russia? She connived to take power from her husband. She went to war with Turkey over land in 1769, she took part in bringing about the demise of Poland as Russia greedily partitioned its neighbors' land. Yes, Catherine made many reforms, but most of the acts benefited the nobles, while millions of serfs struggled to survive. In fact, during her reign, peasant rebellions were a constant theme between 1762 and 1769. And we should not forget that she ruthlessly put down Pugachev's rebellion. And what did the serfs want as they rebelled under Pugachev? All they wanted was to be treated fairly and humane. But that was too much for Catherine the Great. Once again, I guess her motherly instincts took a back seat to her avarice instincts. And we should not limit ourselves to talking about powerful women. In America, women played an important role in maintaining slavery. Many women were slave owners. Many women protested against equality among blacks and whites. There were many women who were part of the Ku Klux Klan and tried to maintain white supremacy. During the second civil rights movement, women took an active role in trying to prevent blacks and white kids from going to school together. They stood proudly beside their men as they hurled insults towards people they felt were inferior. These women were not making the world better and had no desire to make the world better. What about in Nazi Germany? There were many women who gladly embraced Hitler, knowing that he was evil. They worshipped at his feet for what he stood for. German women, just like German men, accepted the Nuremberg laws, which allowed one group to feel superior to another group. German women, just like German men, looked the other way as fellow human beings were being rounded up and sent to concentration camps. And German women, just like German men, could have stopped this madness in its infancy had they chosen to. And we should never forget that at the concentration camps there were also German female guards as well as male guards. Even in the 20th century and the 21st century, female politicians have supported wars just like their male counterparts. Women leaders look out for their own self-interest like their male counterparts. And they do very little to change the status quo as well. I could go on for hours discussing how this world would be the same place if women had ran it from the very beginning. But I would like to end by saying this. I believe it is extremely sexist for any man to say that if women ran the world would be worse than the conditions we are living in now. But I also think that people who say if women ran the world, this would be a better place, need to take a closer look at history. And they will realize how ridiculous that statement is.